Welcome to our first coffee break session with the Licensed Trade Charity and Hospitality Jobs UK. My name is Dawn Redman. I'm founder and director of Hospitality Jobs UK. I'm delighted to be sharing my screen today with Caroline Jenkinson, Head of Charity Services at the Licensed Trade Charity. Hi, Caroline.
Hello, it's really lovely to be here.
Caroline, today we will be discussing and answering questions on how to start your job search from no CV to a great CV. But I think before we start, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and about the Licensed Trade Charity?
Yeah, no problem. Well, believe it or not, the Licensed Trade Charity has been going since 1793, so over 280 years. Loads of people don't know that. We obviously have modernised since then, since those days. And I think that combination with the fact that pubs closed on the 22nd of March last year and really haven't properly opened just made me think how unusual that is, because the pubs didn't even close during 2 world wars. So the charity are just there to help people in the licensed trade. That's their whole remit, really. A bit about me. My whole background's from doing customer service. That was the first job I did when I left school. It was called the complaints department then. So as you can see, things have moved on. The complaints department is so old-fashioned. So I've done it in quite a few industries. Encyclopedia Britannica, a toy company. I then got made redundant from an amusement machine company and decided to go into a charity work and help people that were at threat of homelessness. So both those qualities, luckily, have sort of led me to join the Licensed Trade Charity 6 years ago. And I absolutely love my job. I mean, I go abroad to bars and stuff like that, but I don't think the UK does, no one does a pub as well as the UK to me. They're just really brilliant.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, actually. And it's interesting because I've worked in the sector, hospitality sector now for about 13 years. And I touched base with the Licensed Trade Charity probably a couple of years ago, and I didn't realise what a phenomenal job you guys do. And you do it very in an honourable way, in a humbling way, and I think it's awesome. So before we go on to questions, tell us a little bit about how. Sorry. Before we go on the question, I got a little bit distracted. My cat is just zooming around the room. Sorry. I can't believe I just said that. Caroline, could you, before we start the question, tell us about the partnership and how did our partnership come around between the Licensed Trade Charity and Hospitality Jobs UK?
Well, we often went to the same events, you and I. So we have sort of a joint venture with Only a Pavement Away, which look after homeless people. Again, a really brilliant organisation. And I saw you speaking there, and I just really loved the fact that you have this really lovely laid back but passionate manner about what you do. And I remember thinking, I'm going to friendly stalk that woman because I think it will be really good. Because obviously I love what we do in helping people going through hard times, but you have this really lovely positive attitude. So I think some months went by and nothing happened. And then I saw you at another event, a pub awards or something. We spoke again. And then we said we must meet. And luckily we met. Yeah. So we had a really good meeting in your neck of the woods. And we decided to form this partnership because I love helping people in the pub trade. You love getting people jobs. And to me, it was just a really brilliant partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course we met in a pub. We wouldn't meet anywhere else. So Caroline, before we hand over for me, I know you've got some questions to ask me. I think it'd be really good to let the audience know it's going to be around about 10-15 minutes max. We're going to ask some questions. Afterwards, they can send questions to us. But I'm now going to hand over to you for you to ask me some questions.
Okay. Well, we have personally come across loads of people that they've been made redundant. You know, it's quite a sad affair through no fault of their own. So that irked us somewhat. So we thought that we would like to get an expert who would know a lot about CVs and talk about that. I mean, I personally think that in the old days, you probably got away without doing a CV in the hospitality industry. And my son was in the trade as well, and he got most of his jobs by doing a trial shift, and then he just got hired. But it's a completely different landscape now, and you do have to take doing a CV seriously, and I think it's really daunting to even know where to start. So what I wanted to know is how you get to do a CV where you get the best chance of people reading it and it hits them between the eyes. So I'd love you to give some tips on how that could happen.
Okay, so for me, you're absolutely right. The CV now is so important, but what it's really daunting and what I've found over the last 10 to 11 months is that some people haven't done a CV for 10, 20 years, and they find it really scary. However, we can simplify it. And I'm just going to give you some, yes, definitely do this on your CV, and no, don't do this on your CV. So the first thing, and some of these tips I give you, people are going to know these. So I would say make sure your contact name and telephone number and email address is on your CV, and make sure it's correct. We come across this really very often where people haven't got the correct telephone number or email address. And if you've got an email address, make sure it's a professional email address rather than have dawnredman@ilovevodka.com. It's about people having the first impression of you, although I do love vodka, but it's that people having the first impression of you and making sure that they think this is a serious person. And then your CV, a couple of no-nos I would say is, don't put your picture on your CV. There's no need to put a picture on your CV. What you've got to try and do with CVs is avoid people making judgments on it. So again, your email represents you properly. You haven't got a picture on your CV. Don't do it in pink paper or blue paper. Keep it clean, keep it white. If you're handing a CV in, it's white paper. Online, they won't know the difference. One key thing I say to lots of people is some people like to put their CVs in boxes. And they put their profile in a box, their career history in a box, and they put their contact details in a box. Avoid boxes on CVs. The reason for this is nowadays so many people are looking at your CV in so many different. Either it could be a laptop, it could be an Apple Mac, it could be an iPhone, it could be a Samsung. And if you've got those boxes on, your CV isn't represented in the way it should be represented. So it's not laid out properly. So avoid the boxes on the CVs, and that's a real key one. One thing I have been asked a lot is around qualifications. So you've got people that have been in the industry for, say, 20 years. Where do they put their qualifications? And it's a real key one because your qualifications can be relevant, but don't look at them all as school qualifications. So look at the role you're applying for. So I would say, to make it really simple, to structure your CV, it's contact details, profile statement, then it's your key achievements, which I will talk about in a moment, and then it goes on to your qualifications. Now, that could be that you hold a personal license, or you've got a health and safety qualification, or you've got a degree in hospitality. If it's you've got A-levels 20 years ago, leave those qualifications right at the bottom of your CV, because you don't need to have them there. But if it's a relevant qualification, and then you start on your career history. The other thing I would say is some people have started leaving out their hobbies. And I would say, and I call it hobbies and social. I think you should add this on the bottom of your CV because it shares your personality. So it tells you whether you love cooking or you love socialising. However, you've got to be careful that you don't put, I like to watch Chelsea every Saturday, because if you're going for a job in the pub industry, they're going to potentially want you to work every Saturday. So again, it's taken away that, I like to watch, go to bed early every night, and things like this. It's taken those presumptions where people think, actually, I don't want to see that person because they might be an Arsenal supporter, but more importantly, actually they're going to want to watch Chelsea. So are they going to be committed to the job? And the last thing is on a CV is spell check. Make sure you do a spell check, and make sure you do capital I's. Because it does make a difference. It's all about people looking at in your presentation. And actually, last thing I will say is dates. When I look at a CV, I look at dates. And if your dates don't match up and you've got a big gap in your CV, people will ask where you've been. If you've been on sabbatical, if you've been off poorly, put you've been on sabbatical, put you've been off poorly. And if you've jumped jobs really quickly because of redundancy or for a particular reason, you can put on your CV why that happened. There's, your CV is a calling card, really. It's your personal card. So yeah.
They are some great tips. Even I've learned it. I'm not having to do a CV, so thank you very much for that. And also, I was going to ask you, what's the difference between a personal statement and key skills? Do you need both? And what, if you do, what sort of things should you say?
Okay, so your personal statement, it goes underneath your contact details. It's 20, 30 years ago, you didn't have that. You went straight into your career history. A personal statement now is all about your personality, but also what I call your generic soft skills. So your personal statement should be, I am an expert. So for example, if you run a pub, it's usually your personal statement, I'm an experienced pub manager with over 30 years experience in the pub industry. So it's just giving you a quick outline to say that you've worked in that sector. Depending on the job you're going for, you should also include the industries you've worked in. Now, the reason why I say this is when you put your CV online, and I don't want to get too complex about it, is that lots of people do searching online. So if you've worked in retail and you've worked in FMCG and you've worked in the hospitality sector, or in the pubs or bars or restaurants, I would actually put on my first line, for example, my name's Dawn Redman, or I would put, I would put my name's Dawn Redman, I've worked in the hospitality, retail, FMCG and IT sector for over 30 years. So I would first of all get that across to say, so in their first line, people know this is a really experienced person.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you haven't had that experience, it's about your personality getting through, saying I have excellent communication skills, written and verbal. I also like working within a team. I enjoy a challenge. I'm all about targets. So this is where you can put a little bit about that summarises you as a person and what you're able to do. So it's about your personality. It's about expressing your generic skills, and the last thing is about your how many years of experience and what industries you work in. So it's a small caption around that, and then it flows on to key achievements.
Okay, that's brilliant. Covering letters. Should you always do a covering letter when you send a CV in? And the other thing I was going to ask you is, should you always change up the CV every time you apply for the job if they are a bit different from each other?
Okay, the first question about covering letters. What's happening at the moment is most people are applying for jobs online. If there's an opportunity to put a covering letter in, always put a cover letter in, and make sure you put your name, your full address on. Again, at the bottom of the covering letter, I always would suggest you sign off your name, but underneath that, your email address and your telephone number. Then in the covering letter, make sure you address it to the right person. Okay. It can be frustrating if you don't, but make sure you address it to the right person, and just put and also address it to the right job you're applying for. So it could be a case of, dear Dawn, I saw you advertise a job for a bar manager or pub manager at the Golden Goose. I would be really interested in this. So that's your first one, and then you put in there why you think you're suitable. And at the bottom, it's I've attached my CV for your reference. Please let me know what the next stage would be. And the key thing is when you put a CV in, and people don't do this, is put your availability. Just say I am available for interview or face-to-face or Zoom all day next week. Give yourself a couple of days, like all day Thursday or Friday. So you're sort of managing their diary, but they don't have to then email you back saying, hi Dawn, when are you available for a call? You've already written that in your CV. Reference the do I change my CV for every job I'm applying for. Your CV should be really structured, and at the best it should be already. However, if you are going for a job, look at the job description and the keywords in that job description, and just make sure you've got those keywords in your CV. So yes, adapt your CV. Don't change the whole thing, but adapt those keywords into your CV.
Okay, that is brilliant. And the thing about the availability, I never would have thought of that. So it also shows that you're really keen, doesn't it? So I can't see that could be a bad thing at all.
No, it's not at all. And it does show that, it just shows that you're quite organised as well. I'm available Thursday and Friday. But give them a couple of choices. Don't say I'm available at 10 o'clock on Friday and that's it. Just give them some flexibility. But it makes it easier for them to contact you. And obviously, Some people don't even get, if you've got a cover letter, some people don't even get to your CV. So that's why I'm saying at the bottom, just underneath your name, add your email address and telephone number.
Okay, cool. And the other thing I was going to ask is, I think a lot of people really undersell themselves. Obviously, we help a lot of people, you know, may be financially challenged, and we can help them in that way. And I'll ask them what they've done for a living. They just say, "Oh, I just work in a pub, love." And I can't believe they just said that sentence. So how do you, when you don't think much of yourself, which sometimes happens when you lose your confidence, how do you sort of sell yourself really well?
This is people, when I talk to people about key achievements, so for me on a CV, I would start at the top again, your contact name, your personal statement about yourself, and then I would go into your key achievements. And so many people say to me, I've got no key achievements. Now, I would say, take a step back. First of all, key achievements, if you're in the business, you've been in the business and you've just run a pub for 30 years, it's all about revenue you've generated, something you've implemented and it took a period of time. So for example, you implemented a marketing campaign, and from that marketing campaign, it runs 6 weeks and it increased revenue by XYZ. So I say you use 3 things. You use percentages to show your key achievements, you use revenue to show your key achievements, and you use time to show your key achievements. That's if you've got work experience. And it could be also a key achievement, it's also about promotion, so you can put that there. Also, with your key achievements, if you've won any awards or you've been accredited with something, that's where your key achievements go. And these are literally just bullet point one-liners. Now, some people may turn around and say, I have got no key achievements at all. Again, if you're coming in and you've got no work experience, look at what you did at college or university. Think about a marathon you've run. Someone who's run a marathon has to be really, really structured, has to be very committed. Huge achievement. And actually, if I employed somebody who run a marathon, I know they're due diligent, they're very concise, they've put a lot of effort in, they've made a plan, and sometimes it's not just a running plan, they've done a food plan aside that. But if you haven't got that experience, then the other thing would be, if you left school, the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. It's a great achievement. Or you may have run a 5K for cancer research or the British Heart Foundation. So don't think about key achievements just in work. Think about your key achievements outside work, which shows you that you're doing other things outside work. So whether it's fundraising or whether it's a qualification, you may have just taken a qualification outside work, which isn't relevant to the industry, but you've actually taken a qualification that improved you as a person and improved your skills.
That is a brilliant answer. I think there's no sort of boundaries really. If it's a key achievement in your life, you should include it. Because it brings the person to life on the CV, doesn't it?
Oh God, yeah, and it's amazing some of the key achievements that people have done, and it brings it. And it's about having your personality on your CV. So yeah.
Right, and with Dawn Redmond's head on, so that was hard to say. What would you say hits you between the eyes of a good CV, where you just go, oh, I really like that?
The first thing is presentation. It's all about the way they lay their CV out. So it's got to be really clear. So again, it's got to be clear, it's got to be clean. Use a simple font like Arial. You can use Times New Roman, Libra, but don't use a sort of funny font. So use a really clean font. Use the one thing is like the white spaces at the sides. So make sure you put your CV in, it's structured in a really clear way. Use bullet points. But the thing that stands out for me is the contact details to make sure they're easy accessible, and also the dates. So I look at the dates to make sure the dates marry up. If there's a gap, I would think, I've got years of experience in recruitment, so I have no hesitation of picking up the phone and asking that question. Some people may not want to ask that question, so make sure the dates follow on the CV. So that would be, it's a lot about presentation. And then once the presentation is right, you want to read the CV, and that's where your personality profile and your key achievements come out. Okay,
I think you've done a brilliant job at answering those questions. If I was watching this now, I think, okay, I'm up for it now. I'm up for doing my CV.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
And you just wanted to also sort of carry on to say if anyone had any questions to contact you. Where does that happen?
So if anybody's got any questions, they can contact me directly at dawn@hospitalityjobsuk.com.
Okay.
Or hello@hospitalityjobsuk.com. It's, you know, any questions at all, I will come back to you as soon as I possibly can. But do reach out, anything to do with recruitment, you know, simple questions. I just wanted to say something actually while I remembered that, Carolyn. When people put their contact details on their CV, you don't need to put your address. So just put your county in there. And the reason why I say this, and I've just thought about this, is if you put your county, so I live in Hertfordshire, which means that if somebody looks at my CV, they will know that I can work in the breadth of Hertfordshire. If I actually put my location, if I put Berkhamsted, then someone's going to think actually they're only going to be prepared to work a couple of miles outside Berkhamsted. But everybody's prepared to jump in the car and travel half an hour. So I'm just thinking of that. So yes, but any questions at all, just email me at dawn@hospitalityjobsuk.com.
Okay, and also just to remind you guys that we also have quite a lot of information. Actually, Dawn and our team rewrote our help sheets on how to find a job, so those are on our website. So if you've forgotten what we both said today, go and have a look at that, because it's really brilliant information. Oh, thank you so much for your wisdom, passion, and tips. I mean, I think what's really good is your relationship with us sort of goes hand in hand, isn't it? And also you've given your time freely, so a big thank you for that as well.
That's a pleasure. And the fact that this is one of 4, so we're on next Wednesday again at 10 o'clock. And I know anybody can download all the whole series we do them on the YouTube, Hospitality Jobs UK YouTube channel, which this series will be on posted 10 o'clock on Wednesday, and all the others will be. And so any links and obviously the help sheets you can refer back to. But yeah, I'm excited. You know, grab a coffee and join us. I think it's going to be fun. You'll find out something, and you'll also find out we're a bit mad as well. So we're normal. So
yeah.
So we're very normal. So
I think it sort of it shines through that we both really love the trade. The other thing I just wanted to say from a licensed trade with a charity perspective, you know, these are really good tips, but also if you are finding it really tough and it's getting to you that you're not being able to find a job, you know, we've got a helpline where you've got trained counsellors, we've got practical advisors. So, you know, they are there literally to help anyone in hospitality. We've got loads of different support mechanisms on our website as well. There's actually a COVID page, there's mindfulness, so that you can look at how to motivate yourself when you're feeling a bit down. So, you know, we are just really passionate, and that's why we chose you to be one of our partners, because, you know, we are not experts at everything. You know, what we do is partner up with people that we know are experts at stuff. So we got a whole host of support in housing, money, health, mental health. So you know that if you go on our website or phone our helpline, we're there for you. And our helpline, I think, is on that little graphic that we sent out.
Yeah, what it is it's 0808 801 0550.
Well done, yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's a great helpline. Is it open 24 hours a day?
24 hours a day, 365 days. Both teams are on the same number. So sometimes you could switch. You might want a bit of emotional support because you're feeling a bit down because things aren't happening as quickly as you want them to be. But you then could also speak to the practical advisors about employment laws and things like that. Also, if you're worried about losing a job, which is sadly happening at the moment, they can talk you through that as well. So yeah, both teams are at the same place.
Yeah, I think it's amazing, Carolyn, what you guys do, because I've been supporting some people in the industry, and the effects it has on people, and they've reached out to the licensed trade charity, and they are just really needing your help. And what I love about the licensed trade is everything's confidential, so nobody knows. You don't have to share your details. You can just pick up the phone and just say, I need some help, whether it, as I say, financial, mental health, well-being. And I know you've got a mental health video, so online video that can help people as well. So yeah, it's brilliant. But I've loved this session. I'm looking forward to next week. I don't know what I've got lined up yet. I think it's to do, what's it to do? It's about personal, is it?
Yeah, personal branding and what social posts and what social platforms you should use to promote yourself. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that question comes up a lot. Do I post, do I go on Facebook? Do I go onto LinkedIn? And it's changed. It's all about Generation Zoom now. Yeah, that'd be an interesting session. So I hope people can join us. Carolyn, thank you so much for having me and sharing the screen with me. And I look forward to speaking to you next Wednesday.
I know it'll fly by. It's been a real pleasure. And hopefully some people have really learned some stuff from today. So thanks, Dawn.
No worries. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.